Hi, I'm Rudy with Magnanimous Media. In this video, I will be discussing the autofocus capabilities of the C300 Mark II, C100 Mark II, and the 1DX Mark II. All three cameras feature dual-pixel CMOS autofocus technology, which means that each pixel of the sensor has two photodiodes that operate independently of one another. Let's take a look at the C300 Mark II first. The C300 Mark II has three modes of autofocus: one-shot, autofocus boosted manual focus, and continuous. One-shot works like how you'd expect. Put the focusing frame over what you want to focus on and push the one-shot autofocus button on the lower front part of the camera body. The focusing frame can be moved around manually using the directional key or locked to the center of the frame. When you turn on face detection and tracking, boxes will automatically appear around any face that the camera has found. You can then use the directional key to highlight which you want to focus on and then simply press the one-shot autofocus button. There is also a helpful priority setting for face autofocus. In priority mode, the camera will focus on faces first, but then other objects if no face can be found in the focusing area. And in face-only mode, the autofocus will not detect or track non-faces. Autofocus boosted mode is a form of manually focusing while getting just a little bit of extra help from the autofocus system. When you activate this mode, a yellow box appears in the frame when nothing is in focus. When you get close to having an object in focus, the box will turn white. This is good for something like a run and gun situation, where you want the control of manual focus to pick your targets, but then need the precision and speed of autofocus to get it just right. Continuous is the last autofocus mode available and works much like one-shot, except you don't have the need to push a button. In continuous, the autofocus will always be looking for something to focus on. Use the directional key to switch focus between faces when face tracking is on, or to move the focusing frame when it's unlocked and face tracking is off. Finally, there are also autofocus speed and sensitivity settings which let you set how quickly the autofocus will focus and switch targets respectively. This applies to all three forms of autofocus with the C300 Mark II. The C100 Mark II works very similarly to the C300 Mark II in terms of autofocus, except with a few key differences. The first of which is that the C100 does not have autofocus boosted manual focus. It does, however, have one-shot and continuous autofocus modes. One notable difference here is that the focusing frame cannot be moved from the center of the image and only covers about 25% of the image horizontally and 20% vertically. This results in less flexibility in terms of framing and choosing your focus targets. The C100 Mark II also has face detection and tracking, and again works more or less the same. Use the directional key to highlight the face you want to focus on, and then press the one-shot autofocus button if in one-shot mode. The Canon 1DX Mark II has two main modes while shooting video. The first is called Flexi Zone AF, which is comparable to continuous autofocus. In this mode, a square focusing area will appear on the LCD monitor, which, much like the C300 Mark II, can be moved around using the multi-controller button in an area roughly equal to 80% of the frame horizontally and 80% of the frame vertically. Although, unlike the C300, the size of this focusing frame cannot be changed. There are also speed and sensitivity sliders, so you can adjust the parameters of the autofocus system to your liking. The other autofocus type is a face detection and tracking mode. This will automatically focus on and track faces across the image. One nice feature of this is that even if there is no distinguishable face, such as someone wearing a helmet, it can instead recognize a body and determine where the face would be. Autofocus lock is also available. It can be assigned to a variety of buttons during shooting. This is great for setting focus, holding it on a target, and then re-enabling autofocus precisely when you need it. The big advantage, though, of the 1DX Mark II over the C100 or C300 Mark II is that the LCD on the 1DX has a touchscreen, so you can quickly and intuitively set the focus frame by simply tapping where you want it to be. In terms of speed, accuracy, and functionality, dual-pixel autofocus is a big improvement over the standard contrast-based autofocus that most cameras have. This makes autofocus even more useful in a wider range of situations, whether it be events, weddings, documentaries, narrative work, or in tandem with the gimbal system. If you'd like to rent any of these cameras, try out dual-pixel autofocus for yourself, head over to www.magrents.com.